Hello, and welcome back to the House of Transit. Today we'll be doing an art construction update of the Broadway Subway in Vancouver. It will extend the existing Millennium line from its current terminus at VCC Clark to Arbutus Street. It started construction in 2020 and will be completed in 2026. As always, enjoy the ride.
But I think since we have the cab, let's definitely go past Broadway into Main Street, and then so then we get the downtown view. The downtown end, and then we can head back to find somewhere to eat after.
Yeah.
But since we have it, let's take advantage of it.
For sure.
Before we dive deeper into the video, we must look at the project's background and why it is needed. The Broadway Subway will extend the existing Millennium line from its current terminus at VCC Clark all the way to a new terminus at Arbutus Street, halfway to UBC, with 4 intermediate stops. For one, the 99B line has been incredibly overcrowded, with around 55,000 daily riders pre-COVID, making it the single busiest bus line in the US or Canada. Second, the Millennium line is the lowest patronage line in the SkyTrain, and its terminus is very awkward and doesn't connect to anywhere useful other than VCC Clark's Vancouver campus. The Broadway Subway Project will help fix this usefulness issue, which has plagued the Millennium line since its inception, by offering more interchanges and access to a second downtown, the latter of which is especially important due to the implementation of the Broadway plan. And finally, this project is the first step towards getting SkyTrain service to UBC, a goal which has been chased for decades, yet has had little action taken on it until recently. This first phase of the Broadway Subway will cut down trip times from commercial Broadway to Arbutus Street from around 20 minutes by the 99B line today to about 12 minutes when factoring in the extra minutes that it takes to get between VCC Clark and commercial Broadway. Between the current VCC Clark Station and the future Great Northern Way Carr University Station, a 700-meter elevated section of the Broadway extension is being built. At the time of shooting the footage, most of the columns are at least partially completed, and some have already started having the actual supports for the beams and girders poured. By the looks of it, the gross majority of the columns are cast, and it looks like the elevated Guideway should begin construction sooner than later. According to the latest construction timeline, the elevated section should be finished by early 2024. The first stop on the Broadway Subway is Great Northern Way Carr University. It will be located at the intersection of Great Northern Way and Thornton Street, and built as an open-cut station. Currently, the area around the station is mostly residential to the south, with light industrial, commercial, and a sprinkle of residential areas to the north, east, and west. For transit operations, 1 diesel bus route serves the area. At the time of filming, both TBMs have been launched from their shafts. You can clearly see the concrete tunnel rings. The station foundation has been completed, and further work on the station will begin once the TBMs are extracted.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I'm going to put it up there.
Our next station is Mount Pleasant. This station, along with the 4 following stations, will be built cut and cover. The station will be located at the intersection of Broadway and Main Street. At the time the video is being created, the neighborhood is predominantly low-density residential and commercial, with a couple of higher-density buildings sprinkled in around the area. Additionally, to the northwest of the intersection lies a light industrial hub that plays a critical role in employment for the city of Vancouver. In terms of transit operations, the area is currently home to 3 trolley bus routes and 1 diesel bus route. At the time of filming, the entire station box is dug out, and work is underway to complete the station foundations and prepare for the arrival of the first TBM, Elsie, and later for the arrival of Phyllis, the second TBM. By the looks of it, the concrete guideways for the TBMs are already done. Additionally, the emergency exits seem to be progressing, as the emergency exit shafts have been fully dug out. Currently, there aren't any proposed developments that should go on top of the station. However, it's worth noting that with the Broadway plan, developments may be proposed atop the station head house and the surrounding area.
Oh, jeez, we just made it late. Shit.
Whatever. They don't know we did it.
They won't.
Our next station is Broadway City Hall. It is located at the corner of Broadway and Cambie Street, where the existing Canada Line station already is. Currently, the area is predominantly low to mid-density commercial and residential, with some high-rise buildings west of Cambie near the Vancouver General Hospital. In terms of transit operations, 3 diesel bus routes and 1 trolleybus route serves the area, with the trolleybus route being relocated to 12th Avenue as part of the subway project. It's also worth noting that the 9 Broadway bus line was converted from trolley to diesel operations as a part of this project. It will be a deepest station on the extension, with a depth of 20 meters or 66 feet to dive beneath the Canada Line. Excavation has been progressing well by the looks of it, but it still needs a lot of digging to happen before the desired depth of the station is reached. Shoring up the station box looks like it's going well too, along with the continued excavation. The traffic deck is done, and it opened in phases between July and August. The Cambie combined sewer relocation looks finished, and was completed by November 2022, according to the latest monthly report. This will allow work to proceed inside the existing Broadway City Hall station to knock down walls and drill walkways necessary to connect the existing Canada Line station to the new Millennium Line station. As for any potential developments, a mall was proposed on the site currently being used for construction staging for the Broadway Subway Project, as well as a potential City Hall campus. However, there is yet to be any concrete plans for developments atop the station head house or the site being used for construction staging. The next station is Oak VGH. It is located at the intersection of Broadway and Laurel Street. At the moment, the area around the station is rather high density, with large office buildings, mid-rise commercial, and some low to mid-density residential surrounding the area. For transit operations, 1 diesel bus route serves the area. Oak VGH will also be quite deep, as the surface sits at a higher elevation compared to areas in and around Mount Pleasant and Broadway City Hall Station. Just like Broadway City Hall, Oak VGH is still being excavated, and it looks like that crews haven't gotten down to even half the required depth of the station. That being said, with the traffic deck all finished and utility relocations all done, the station is progressing quite well. In regards to any potential developments, there are a couple of proposed developments around the area, but nothing atop the station head house. However, there will likely be more proposals as time goes on. Our next station is South Granville. The station is located at the corner of Broadway and Granville Street. Currently, the area is predominantly low to mid-density commercial and residential with some offices. In terms of transit operations, 3 trolleybus and 2 diesel routes serve the area. The station, along with the proposed 39-story building atop the head house, is progressing. The 8-story podium of the building is now constructed up to 6 or 7 floors, so it should be complete not too long after the creation of this video. That being said, the proposed 39-story building isn't approved by the Development Permit Board yet, at the time of writing, given that certain conditions haven't been satisfied yet. Excavation isn't that far, but it seems to be chugging along. Unfortunately, this station doesn't have that many good angles to film the construction progress from, so we couldn't get much footage. Hopefully there are more angles to film the station progress next construction update. As mentioned in the last construction update, the South Granville Station area will see among the most change on the entire Broadway corridor. Even if there aren't other proposed developments around the station area, there still are up to 30 to 40 stories allowed in the immediate area surrounding the station according to the Broadway plan, and there are significant amounts of density allowed in other sections of the corridor, especially to the west and north of Broadway. Our final stop is Arbutus, which will be the western terminus of the Broadway Subway for now. The station is located at the corner of Broadway and Arbutus Street. At present, the area surrounding Arbutus Station is predominantly low-rise buildings, with a line of mid-rise buildings to the east of Arbutus Street along Broadway. In terms of transit operations, 1 diesel bus and 1 trolleybus route serve the area, with the trolleybus route being relocated to 12th Avenue as part of the subway project. This station is where the 99B line will be truncated to. The new station connects to Arbutus Greenway, a former interurban rail line that now operates as a multi-use pathway for pedestrians and cyclists going north-south. It's also worth mentioning that this corridor has been proposed to host a streetcar line, something which could act as a useful connection to the Broadway subway if it were to be pushed through. At the time of filming, the traffic deck has been completed, and excavation of the station pit is progressing, but it is still very shallow. The northern traffic deck pilings and structures are yet to be completed, though that should be completed sooner than later. There aren't any major developments planned around the station yet, but the densities allowed are significant. A maximum of 30 stories is allowed directly around the station, whereas south of Broadway, buildings can go up to 15 to 20 stories. Before we wrap up our tour, we're also thinking of making an opinions video on the Broadway subway. If you'd like to see that happen, please do let us know in the comments section. As always, thank you for watching the video, and we'll be sure to catch you soon in the House of Transport podcast.
The next station is Main Street, Science World. Doors will open on the left. Exit here for long-distance rail and bus services from Pacific